Hail and well met, adventurers. My name is Tom, also known as Penflower Ink, and welcome to the Brave and the Kobolds. This is a homebrew setting adventure where the party is going to all be kobolds, because kobolds are amazing and we love them. You might know who I am, might know what Penflower Ink is. Basically, most of the time I am an artist. I make printable RPG resources for tabletop RPGs, and I do commissions, character portraits. But today I have my lava has pupated, my chrysalis has exploded, and I have bursted forth in my true form, my final form, which is a game master. Dungeon master, if you will. So yeah, this is my first time doing this kind of thing. So yeah, very excited, also very scared. I think just to sort of get started, without sort of going into necessarily the characters you're playing, if you all want to just introduce yourselves, just say who you are, what you do. We will probably have all of the links to all your social medias and all your creative endeavors. We'll put them in the description below. So if you want to mention that, that's okay. But I think it'd be nice if you just sort of say who you are, and anybody can start. It's a free-for-all.
I don't want to fight.
Why doesn't Fish begin? Because she's sort of next to you in the overlay.
Okay, sure. Let's do it that way.
Follow that.
Okay. So, I'm Mad Fishmonger. I do a lot of gaming on the internet, and I do some writing for Nerdburger Games and some other stuff. And I make things. I do some sewing. I kind of do a little bit of everything because it's, I don't know, I can't decide. But mostly I was a fan of Tom's art, actually, before I met him. And then I met him, and it turns out he's a super awesome person. So I'm really excited.
All right. Hi, my name is Amia, or Jamie. Both is good. I'm an illustrator from Belgium. I also work a lot in the D&D community for character commissions, for paper miniatures, of which I have a Patreon. And besides that, I also do a lot of crafting. I make patterns and sewing and lots of stuff also. So yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Insert awkwardness here.
Yay.
I'm Brittany, otherwise known as the Friendly Neighborhood Dungeon Mom, or FN Dungeon Mom on Twitter. I do, I guess, a bit of everything too? Question mark. I don't know. I'm primarily known for my dice bags. I make dice bags. So I remember following Tom just because I loved his art style. Like, that was like, oh my god, it's so unique and cool. Must has. And Tom actually illustrated the cover art and inside art for my patron of Liberty, Captain America inspired Warlock subclass. And it is awesome and cool, and you should check it out. Sorry, slightly self-promo, but Tom is awesome. Check out his art as well.
Astrid.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm here too.
No, come on. Do I need to hype you up?
No. What do? I'm a teacher most of the time, but not right now because it's summer. So now I'm just a full-time dungeon master and player.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
You print out and assemble all the things that we make.
Yes.
Yeah.
I buy all
So she's the brains behind the operation?
The
Yeah.
administration.
Yeah.
She
Brains
might have.
behind the illustration.
I make the Excel sheets.
I'd also say Astrid is DM for another game that we play, which is the noir-themed Waterdeep Dragon. Between the Devil and the Waterdeep, which is the noir-themed Waterdeep Dragon heist game that we have going over there. And she's doing an excellent job keeping us all alive. So thank you.
Despite your best efforts to get.
Despite our best efforts, you're doing a great job. Hopefully, by the time this is up, there will have also been a video, a short introductory video to this world that we're going to be playing in. I will put a link. It will be somewhere around here on the video, or it'll be down below in the description. And that is going to function as a sort of introduction to the setting and what I've done with kobolds, because we are using a sort of a homebrewed version of kobolds, which are very similar to the official 5th edition ones, but with some differences, and you can find out more about them in that video. I guess we could just jump in. And we'll start. I'll set the scene. The scene is a mountain. And this mountain is known by the people surrounding it as Rosdactyla's Peak. The name for most people is just that. It's just a name. It's always been called that. Nobody really particularly questions why. And Rosdactyla's Peak, while certainly not the tallest summit in the world, towers over the rest of the mountains and hills that surround it like the conical hat of a sleeping giant. It's silvery grey at the top, but it's tinged with pink and green as it sort of slopes down, and where the slopes become sort of overgrown with moss and grass and eventually trees. At the heart of this mountain is a massive cave within which lives Rosdactyla herself. Older than the mountain, perhaps even older than the island itself where the mountain is, she is a kind and gentle-mannered dragon, pink dragon, and her once bright pink scales are now tinged ever so slightly with silver. She sits near a neatly stacked hoard of treasures gifted to her by her beloved worshippers, her adopted, extremely extended family, the kobolds, who have lived around her for the past 500 years or so. They are a thriving, if a little skittish, community who treat her like a queen, descended from divinity. Rosdactyla, or Roz, as she is sometimes affectionately called by some of the kobolds, lifts her great horned head, and she sort of speaks very gently into a cavity in the wall of her cave, one that she knows will carry her voice directly to the speaker's chamber. And that brings us to Astrid.
Yes.
And your character. Could you just quickly tell us, who is your character?
I am playing Ag. Ag is the speaker. She's a bit older in age. Mm-hmm. She's not the quickest or most sort of starting to show early signs of arthritis. Let's put it like that. It's just a bit, not quite like that. But she comes from a big family. She's been the speaker of Rosdactyla for a while now. Mm-hmm. And she's a cleric as well. Yep.
And and basically the speaker's job is kind of to be it's like the name suggests, you speak for Rosdactyla, you speak to Rosdactyla and for Rosdactyla whenever there's a big announcement to make to the kobold community. Let's say this is sort of near noon, near midday, and there is a sort of a little cavity in the wall in your chamber. Mm-hmm. And what are you doing? What is Ag doing?
Probably napping.
Okay. Just napping.
Yeah.
Are you in like in a sort of a kobold version of an armchair?
Yes.
With a crossword puzzle over your face or something.
Yeah, except I'm not that good at puzzles.
So you sort of hear, Ag dear, hello. Hello, is this...
Oh. And I sort of slowly get up from the chair, carefully, and walk over to the... How big is this hole? Is it like a speaking tube, or can I crawl through it?
No. That would be fun. No, it's a little speaking tube. It's like about like this, like it's like kobold telephone.
It's like paper telephones,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Telephones.
It's basically that's the idea. There's like a very long
Paper
tunnel.
cup telephones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go up to the tube and I say, "Hello, Roz."
Hello, Ag dear. How are you? I hope I'm not bothering you.
Oh no, not at all, not at all.
Oh, lovely. I was just wondering, would you be able to pop round for just a cup of tea? Because I have something to discuss with you. Sort of speaker business.
I'll be right there.
Excellent. I'll get the good teapot ready. Okay, so some time passes.
Yeah.
You, being the speaker, your chamber is not too far from sort of the central cave that the whole community is kind of built around, this like burrow system, this burrow network. So it doesn't take you too long. And Rosdactyla is there. She's sort of the pile of treasure is kind of to one side. It's very neat. It's very well kept, and she's already got a teapot. She's got a cauldron ready. The cauldron is for her. The teacups are for you.
Yeah.
And they're not like the best quality. They were probably found somewhere by someone, but they're in pretty good nick. So it's like they're serviceable. And she sort of sees you sort of hobble in and says, "Oh, lovely. How are you, dear? Everything all right? How's the leg?"
It's stiff, but it's okay.
And she sort of flexes one of her wings. "I get the same thing with this one, old lefty. Oof, not as good. I don't suppose you could use a little bit of your magickery to light the fire for her, could you? Because I've got a little bit of I think I might have a bit of an infection. But if you'd be so kind."
Then I guess I cast Fairy Fire.
First spell of the game, everyone.
First spell of the game.
It's to make tea. Okay, so yeah, you light the sort of the embers underneath this cauldron, and sort of eventually you're able to sort of have the water boiled and put it in the teapot, and after a little while you're both sharing this tea, and after you've sort of caught up with just general odds
gossip,
and ends,
yeah,
general gossip, like who's laid an egg recently and who's died, that kind of thing. At a certain point, she finishes her tea and says, "Now, Ag, my dear, as you know, I've been around for quite a while. It's been, oh my goodness, over a millennia now. And I've never really told anybody this, but I've been here for most of that millennia. And I feel perhaps that I haven't made the most of my time in this world." And I think she maybe notices a kind of a little frown and says, "Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I just feel that perhaps there are things out there, beyond the mountain that would be worth knowing about. And unfortunately, I'm a little bit long in the tooth, long in the fang. And these wings aren't what they used to be. I doubt I could even sort of burst my way out of this mountain."
Well, Rose dear, we have books, and I point at 3 books in the hoard.
Yes?
They tell of different things.
Oh, they do. Yes, of course, but that there are more books.
Where?
Well, out there, my dear. And there's also the things that the books talk about. Do you know this island, this mountain is on an island? I haven't seen the sea in over 800, maybe 900 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we can hear Ag's mind explode. What is sea?
Why? Don't you like it here?
Oh, Ag, my dear friend. No, please don't take this the wrong way. I love it here. You and your and your all of you, all of my dear little friends. You've made my life here an absolute joy. I wouldn't change a single thing about it. That's the thing. I'm not the one who would be leaving. You see, I would like it very much if some of you might go on, I suppose you could call it a journey of discovery on my behalf. And she sort of waits for your reaction.
I can ask at the next gathering, I suppose.
Well, yes, that's what I was coming to. There is a great gathering, I believe, this evening. Is it not, or did I read the calendar wrong? And she quite literally turns to a big side of the cave where she's scratched like a grid with her nail, and it's like this sort of like GG, great gathering every so often. And it's like, and she's circled it, and it says, "Tell Ag about the thing," and says, "It is this evening, or have I made a whoopsie?"
No, it is tonight.
Oh, good, excellent. Well, you see, all I'd ask of you really is just to, after all the pleasantries have been dealt with and all the issues have been addressed and so forth, just as an ending, a little, just to tie it up in a nice bow, and also not to scare anybody too much. You could just mention that Rose Dactyla would be interested in meeting any kobolds here in the mountain who would like to take up this offer. And I would be so grateful. And if you just tell them that if they are interested, to come and see me tomorrow morning.
Oh, all right. Yeah, of course I will, dear.
Oh, you will?
Yes.
Oh, that's.
I just don't think many people would. I've heard it can get quite cold.
That is true. There is such a thing as snow, but yes, did none of the books go over that? Oh dear. She sort of looks around. She goes and sees if there's a book on weather of some kind. There is. It's like water, but it's very cold and it comes from the sky. But you don't need to worry about that now. If you just remember this evening to make this little announcement, and be sure to let them know, anybody who's interested. I realize it's quite likely nobody will be, but if there is anybody, just to tell them to come just out there, just outside this cave, tomorrow morning. And I'd love to get to know them a little bit better and just talk it over.
Okay.
Thank you, dear. Would you like a refill?
Do you have a little grub to go?
Oh. Let me see. I think I saw. And she slams a fist into the ceiling, and just a grub falls from the ceiling, and it kind of like squirms around.
I grab it with like two claw nails and dunk it in tea.
Bon appetit. Okay, so time passes, and it's the evening, and I don't know, Astrid, if you want to sort of roleplay your announcement, or shall we just sort of say?
I don't think I won't say anything that hasn't been said before. It's
Yeah,
basically
exactly.
who would like to go on a great mission for Ag tomorrow morning
For us.
for us.
For yourself. Go in my name. Conquer this world for me.
Whoops.
No. No. Okay, so you
The true villain is revealed.
No. So yeah, you basically word for word you sort of reiterate, and as you had expected, there is quite a lot of hubbub. This is just before sort of like the end of the gathering, so it's you sort of, as Roz suggested, you left it last, and there is quite a stir, but everybody does sort of go back to their chambers, and I think there are three kobolds whose eyes kind of glitter a little bit when this announcement is made. We zoom in, the camera zooms in on a quite young kobold, sort of a pinkish purple hue, and Ymir, would you like to introduce your character and maybe tell us a bit about how they react to this announcement?
All right, so I'm playing Noki, which is kind of a purple-ish, rather young kobold. She's a druid. She's dressed in this kind of, like, not tethered, but it's a pink rug she finds somewhere probably, which she's now using as clothes. And the notion of like going outside, it's been very hushed in her family, but there's this spark of curiosity to go explore what's beyond just the farm and the caves. That's really like tingling her curiosity, and she's kind of excited to embark on that.
So would Noki say any of sort of the would Noki communicate any of these feelings to her family? How would she go about sort of acting on this curiosity, this spark?
Probably towards her brother more, I think.
Okay.
Because he had the whole thing before.
Okay. Let's say that it's in the evening, and you could say your grandmother Bispo is perhaps preparing some food. The rest of your family is kind of just doing their own thing. They're all chatting, and your older brother Stipe, I believe, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah.
What would Stipe be doing? I picture him like whittling a bone or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I sort of trying like making a little bone dagger.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he's made like 50 and he doesn't use them. He's just whittling.
Just throwing about some bone daggers. Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay. And I think he probably he would notice a change perhaps in your in your sort of behavior, and you say, hey Noki.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting announcement, huh?
I know. It's like I kind of want to go because I want to see more than what's like here, but I'm afraid of what Grandma's gonna say, because she's been kind of not wanting anything to do with that. So.
Yeah, well, you know what she'll say, and he kind of points to a scar, sort of like on his cheek and down, sort of a little down his neck, and says, "Oh, you know that those things out there, almost killed your brother."
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah, she
spooky.
talks about that a lot. So I'm not so sure if I should tell her actually.
I think sort of he kind of lets the joking sort of facade fall for a minute, and he just comes in close and he just says, "You know what? Just do it. Just do it."
I think
Like, what's she gonna do? She gonna run after you? She can barely walk. just
well,
do it. Just do it. I mean, look
think-
at me. I got a cool scar. Who knows what you're gonna get?
also a gold scar, which would be so cool.
I mean, it hurt. It hurt. It wasn't fun, but now look at it. Oh, cool. So cool, right?
Yes.
It's nice. But yeah, just go. All you have to do is go there tomorrow morning. See what the deal is, and if you change your mind, fine. I mean, you're a coward, and I'm not gonna call you my sister no more. But
That hurts. I'm not a coward. I'm gonna go tomorrow.
Is everything okay, Astrid? I've seen Astrid get up and down a few times.
Hi, I'm back. My power went out.
Right, so that's what's happened in Noki's family chamber, and we move now to I would say sort of maybe even the opposite end of the burrow, of the kobold burrow, where we see an also fairly young kobold, but perhaps not as young as Noki, a little bit older. And this one is sort of a very vibrant blue, and is wearing quite cobbled together is possibly the most complimentary adjective we could use. Cobbled together suit of armor. And so I pass over to Madfish. Could you tell us about your character and how they feel about this announcement?
Well, Zaffre is an adult kobold.
Oh, okay.
Just barely, though. He would be sort of the equivalent of 19 or 20, barely an adult. And has, is very proud of his armor, even though it's made up of mostly kitchen supplies. That pot just fits absolutely perfectly on his head. And all of it is very well kept, properly polished and maintained. So despite the fact that it's clearly secondhand, it's very well taken care of. He is doing his nightly patrol. Zaffre didn't have a family growing up, and has always been very on guard. And he read a book, one of the very few books the kobolds have, was a children's book about knights and chivalry and all of that sort of thing. And so he read that when he was very young, and he would he sort of devoted himself to trying to be like one of these knights. So it's very important to him to protect other people. He's always trying, probably a little too hard, to protect everyone. He does lots of patrolling and that sort of thing. He's always been very happy to be here and to protect everyone, but this place has kind of always been peaceful, and it's not like it is, and nothing is like it's described in the books, where the knights were fighting evil necromancers and great creatures and that sort of thing.
There's never been like a Black Knight situation or a Morgan Le Fay. Like in the manuscripts, with the giant snails. There was that time where like Fuzzgumble, who is like one of the more eccentric kobolds, decided to like set one of his chairs on fire,
Yeah,
And
that's
I was
not
like,
the most exciting thing.
yeah, and everybody kept talking about it for weeks. And maybe Zaffre was involved somehow in kind of keeping the
Putting it
peace.
out.
Like, like nothing to see here. That
Oh
kind
yeah.
of thing.
Anytime anything like that happens, he's right there. But
Yeah.
I think there's always been a little part of him that has always kind of wanted an adventure like he's read about in these books. And so with that offer, he's been seriously considering it, and he's actually not as vigilant as he usually is in his patrolling, because he's so lost in thought about whether or not he can afford to leave the place unguarded.
I think, so I think sort of the scene, as you've painted it, it could be that he's maybe doing his patrol along that same old tunnel that he knows like the back of his hand, and I think he is going to cross paths with another kobold who is also adult age, but quite a lot older. But it's probably one of the sort of toughest looking kobolds in the whole burrow. I'll sort of go. I'm describing just as I'm picturing him. He's like quite sort of bright red, lots of scars on him. He's also wearing a kind of cobbled together armor. Maybe he's got like a colander on his head, that kind of thing. Cheese grater, arm guards, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he, you know this kobold. This kobold is Tang, and Tang is your mentor, your kind of your father figure, who has trained you as a member of the Dragon Guard, which is this very sort of small core of knights. It's like you, Tang, and a kobold who's always sick, and you never really see him. And you sort of you cross paths, and he stops a second, and sort of Zaffre, everything all right? You
snaps to attention all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's fine. I told you don't really. Sure, and he kind of does the same salute. He sort of humors you, and he's like, "Yeah, right." I just noticed. Usually, when you pass this corner, you do like a sort of like a little pirouette thing where you kind of do a nice little sort of perimeter view kind of thing that you do, and you sort of kind of skipped it this time, and I know you're not usually doing that sort of thing, so just checking, is everything all right? You feeling a bit under the weather or something like that?
I apologize for my transgression. It won't happen again. I certainly have things on my mind.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a bit of quiet contemplation. It's not a transgression, really. I wasn't, nitpicking or anything. I'm just worried. Are you sure? Is there anything you want to talk about? There's nothing going on. He sort of looks around.
Well, yes. I find myself called to Roz's announcement.
And he kind of does a whew. Well, tell you what, Zaffre, I think it'll do you good. You of all the kobolds in this den I've trained, all two of them, you are the star of the show. I don't know anybody in here who could twirl a sword, slam a shield, kick a shin like you, and I think it's a crying shame. And his voice sort of breaks a little bit. I think it's a crying shame that you've been cooped up in here for so long, and I think it would it will give you a chance to prove your mettle. And I know you're always talking about them knits in shinning armor. And I know you've always wanted to be one of them knits. And I think, this is as close as you're ever going to get to fulfilling that dream. Excuse me. And he kind of just sort of marches off in the opposite direction. And sort of leaves you, hopefully, with a kind of sense of pride. And
for sure. He's standing up very straight. And he, when Tang walks off, he kind of, adjusts his armor, makes sure he's right. And he does his little pirouette as he goes around the corner.
Excellent. So now we move on to a sort of the final of the three kobolds whose eyes sparkled with interest. Just to check.
Reluctant interest.
Oh, interesting. So we cut to a very different scene. We see a chamber which is quite a lot larger than either Noki's family chamber or sort of any sort of guard post chamber that Zaffre and Tang would be lodged in. The walls are decorated. You have honest to goodness furniture. You have like all the mod cons. You've got pretty much anything. We see another fairly young, bright pink, but also sort of kind of glittery, speckled kobold with a very sort of unique sort of head fringe and sort of bearing.
They gave me glitter.
I like that we dive straight into character. It's fantastic. And there's quite a lot of people in this chamber, and most of them are kind of gathered around you, your character, Brittany. Could you introduce the character you're playing, and how did they react to this announcement?
Meeza is Meeza. Hey. And well, I don't really want to do this. I don't know why everybody thinks I can. I'm not entirely sure why everybody keeps thinking that I need to go on this mission. They keep telling me that it's a good idea, that it's going to be character building. I'm not entirely sure what that means, what character building is. I don't want to build anything. I've never built anything in my life. I've never touched a tool. You have no I have no idea of how to even put a needle in a thread. I don't know how this works. What? There's a paper bag. Okay.
Okay. The way I'm seeing this, Meeza is basically surrounded by, mainly, I think the main three who are kind of, there's this cacophony of talking around you. It's your three main friends, Skix, I think is the pronunciation, or is it Six?
Yes.
Skix, Hawk, and Eggman.
Yes. Eggman.
And I think Hawk is like, oh my god, Meeza, like, if you do this, it's gonna be like the choicest thing. Cause like,
why do I need to do it?
No, but you've gotta do it. You're so special. You're so special. You're so blessed.
I need to go kill myself.
You're not gonna get killed, baby. You're gonna be fine. I mean, look at you. You're fabulous. Nobody's gonna want to kill you.
Are you gonna come with me?
Hook kind of.
You need to come with me. You're always cute. And Skix. You guys need to come with me. You can't leave me by I don't know anybody else.
Meeza, honey, calm down. Listen, honey, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be absolutely fine. Now you don't need us to come with you.
Yes, I know.
No. You've got all that power just in your fingertips. what the situation, just to sort of introduce it a little bit, is the reason why you have this sort of gaggle of giggling, fawning friends sort of giving you this enormous pep talk, which is it's not being very is because you, Meeza, are a sorcerer, and sorcerers are quite special in kobold communities because they're basically considered as having almost as like a cleric, having a kind of direct line with the gods, which the kobolds believe to be dragons. And,
I summoned a unicorn when I was 2, and everybody thought it was a big deal.
So yeah, being a sorcerer, you have this kind of innate magical ability, and within kobold society, that kind of makes you a big deal. It makes you sort of a celebrity, and you have this sort of this gang of fans who call themselves like your BFFs and things. But I think the way this conversation is going, it's quite one-sided. Maybe you're starting to question the sort of
totally.
Yeah, it's
totally. I'm questioning everything.
Like Eggman is like, you don't need us to come with you. You can summon fire. You can summon like a thunderstorm, and you can scare anybody. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so awesome. I wish I could come with you.
But why can't you? You can come with me. It was an open invitation.
I wish I could come with you. I really do. But my sinuses. Oh no. It'd be terrible. You wouldn't want me around. I'd just be sneezing all the time and getting mucus all over you. Skix hasn't really said anything so far, but they're kind of just like, oh, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Skix is the person in every conversation, like is the friend that repeats everything else that the other friend says.
Yes, the professional sycophant.
Yes.
Like their job is to make you.
Their name is Six.
Yeah.
They're a
sycophant. So basically, this scene is sort of has been going on for a while, and 2 other sort of kobolds sort of come in, and they're both kind of pink, but not really. They're kind of an off pink.
They're not pure pink.
Yeah, but by their features, by the facial features, they're sort of instantly recognizable as your parents. And Muffet.
I'm immediately gonna go run over to them and be like, "They're telling me I need to go to this thing. I don't want to do it. Don't make me do it. Tell them I don't have to do it."
Meeza, darling, Meeza, my sweet little grub baby, Daddy's little treasure. You know that we'd never forced you into doing anything that you're not comfortable with. But you're gonna love this. It's gonna be so good for you.
I'm gonna love it. Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm absolutely sure of it, darling. You're gonna love every second of it. You're gonna be a star. You're gonna be a star. People are gonna write legends about you.
I'm gonna have stories. I'm gonna be in one of the books. We'll have a 4th book all about me.
Of course, we're gonna have so many of those boo books. Boo, yeah.
I don't know.
So many.
I heard the word one day. It has a lot of paper in it. Whatever paper is, I don't know.
The other kobold kind of leans down and kind of puts a hand on your shoulder. Darling, listen. I'm. Yeah. Oh, okay. And she picks you up and kind of sort of. It's a bit awkward because you're kind of a bit too big to be picked up at this point, but sort of just kind of and then puts you right back down again. And Meeza, darling, you are. It's like your daddy said. You're going to be marvelous. Going to be absolutely marvelous.
Okay.
And everybody in the family is behind you. all the way. Oh, obviously we're not.
But you're not coming with me.
We're not coming with you. I can't stress that enough, darling. We're not coming with you, but we are going to be emotionally behind you.
Can I take Grub with me?
Meeza and Muffet both turn to a corner where possibly the fattest, most lethargic grub ever to crawl the face of the earth is kind of just rolled up on a very sort of poofy sort of shag carpet, and is just snoring. Somehow, nobody, like, grubs can't snore, but this one is, because it's a special grub. Yeah, they sort of all turn around, and of course you can. Sweet, yes, you take your grub with you, but remember, you know, it's a responsibility. You have to take care of him.
Well, if there's other people who are coming, they could take care of him for me, right? That's a thing that could happen.
We'll see. But anyway, now it's time for bed, everyone. So
I want my exfoliating mask. I need that before bed.
And that's basically your evening. You've all sort of you've all been dealing with this announcement. Some of you have come to your own decision. Some of you have been kind of forced into it by sort of peer pressure, family pressure. But now it's the next day, and we are just at the entrance to the entrance tunnel to Rosdactyla's cave. Who's there first?
Oh, I'd be there first.
Yeah.
Crack it on. I'm up and ready.
Okay.
I'd be all completely clean and shiny, and fully packed. Packed up all of his items. Everything's very neat, very well put together. And he's,
is he pacing?
Yeah.
Like pacing up and down.
Yeah.
Who would be next?
Me,
Ag?
probably.
Okay. So
because I figured I would get there early to see if so, who shows up. Not expecting someone to actually already be there.
How does Ag react to?
I think for like a minute she just assumes he's doing guard duties here.
Yeah, but then she'd say, like, he's got the backpack and he's got everything. So
Do you address Zaffre at all, or do you just sort of?
He noticed you and then stop.
Yes. Hello. Are you here for the mission of discovery?
Yes. I have been called upon this quest.
Well, let's just see if more people show up, shall we? Because you wouldn't want to go there all by yourself. That would just be ridiculous. But I've heard it can be quite dangerous.
Well, yes, it can. That's why I brought all of my weapons. And he has what would be, I guess, for a human, a short sword, but is a long sword in his hands. It's quite battered. It looks like it had taken quite a lot of rust damage, but he's, spent a great deal of time cleaning it up. It's got some chips in it. He has a little dagger, one of the many bone daggers that have been carved and tossed off, and a bow as well that he has made himself out of parts, and some arrows. And he's also got his backpack with his few supplies in it. The few kitchen supplies that he hasn't turned into armor.
I'm just picturing, has Zaffre found all of the discarded whittled bone daggers outside of Noki's family.
I was also thinking of that.
Yeah, he would not let those go to waste.
I love that.
He makes sure, like, he has a bunch. He distributes them to people if he feels like they don't, like they need more defense. You know, they have
Self-defense.
More defense.
Self-defense.
Self-defense. I mean, most people like
it's important.
Yeah.
most people just sort of end up using them like a utility knife. You know, it's just handy, but like.
Who would arrive after Ag?
I guess Noki.
Yeah. I think we all know who's going to be last.
Oh yeah. She's packed with like a whole backpack, like full with these big mushroom stalks. She's also like, there's this tin cover of like these spores all over her from hauling them all the way to here. And she goes really excitedly. She's like, oh, hi. And she extends her hand to whoever's closest. I guess that would be Og, because she came in last. She's like, hi, I'm Noki.
Yeah. Oh, yes, what was your grandmother's name again? Tom, what was your grandmother's name again?
I know.
Bispo.
Ispo?
Bispo.
Bispo. Yes, you're Bispo's granddaughter, aren't you?
Yes.
Now, you know I would never gossip, but does she know you are here?
Yes.
Oh, that's okay then.
Okay.
I see you have also been called on this quest.
Yes.
I welcome you. You would know Zaffre because he's obnoxious and he makes himself known to everybody, and he marches up and down all of the hallways. So.
And he steals all my brother's daggers. Yes, hi. Oh, there's a lot of us.
Yes, we should be much safer this way.
Yes.
And I guess eventually,
I would say about noon.
Right on. Okay.
We're really. I mean, you know what? Normally, Meeza sleeps in till about 1, so this is progress.
Yeah.
And Meeza comes in, and there's Meeza is not carrying anything themselves. Meeza is the only thing Meeza is doing is sort of has her hand on this little like wagon, and in the wagon is this little poof of which Grub is sitting on, and they're sort of pulling the wagon, and behind Meeza is Meeza's 3 friends who have all of her gear, as well as her parents and a couple other kobolds, and they and basically, like I said, there's nothing besides the wagon. They don't look like they are ready for a journey of discovery.
Okay, and I'm interested in seeing how all 3 of the rest of you react to Meeza's arrival. Meeza and their troop.
I would absolutely. I would absolutely be just at attention, salute everybody. I know who everyone is. I'll salute them and address them each by name.
You know me?
Of course.
Oh, well, is this the place? This is the place that they told. I don't really know what's going on. I'm here for whatever this is, I think.
You are planning to go on Ross's mission.
I look back at my ratoon of people behind me, kobolds behind me, who are now unloading everything that they have brought, which is more than the standard adventuring gear. I would assume like there is stuff. And I look and they're sort of like, they're taking everything off and putting it in piles. And Eggman is sort of packing my bags and I look back at them and I look at you guys and I go, that's what they told me.
Oh dear.
You will be a welcome addition.
Oh, good. Does that mean you're going to take care of Grub? And I sort of gesture to the big, obese Grub that is semi-awake, and I feel like also sort of like eating whatever sort of like dirt compost that Grub eats currently.
Yeah.
If that is your companion, is your responsibility.
Well,
such as the rules of knighthood.
I can't really take care. I've never.
Of course you can, and I slap you on the shoulder, and I, just sort of a pat. Of course you can. Now, let us go forward, and I'll just march straight ahead into the thing with my back straight, my very shiny armor.
I have a panic attack moment as I now notice that while this conversation has been going on,
they've gone.
Everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gone.
There is nobody behind you. There's just there is. I was gonna say. I'm glad.
I go to be like, what?
Uh-oh. Alarm bells start ringing. But yeah, they've all gone. There's like a family-shaped cloud of smoke. Like in a cartoon, like in Looney Tunes. Whoop, they've all gone. There's just your mountain of accoutrement. Does Noki know? Does Noki recognize Meeza? Does Noki sort of react at all, or?
I think she's heard of her, and it's more like out of like this, not a class intimidation, but like they're so far apart from each other. I think that she's more like, that's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna just bye.
So what happens next is that I think Zaffre sort of makes a move to march in and gets to a certain point, and then you all hear sort of, hello? Well, I think it's noon. Yes, the sun is where it should be. I think if anybody is out there, you're all welcome to come in and come on in. Come on inside. Don't be shy.
I march right up and I give this very elaborate bow before the dragon.
Now, I think Ag is probably the only one of you who's actually seen Rosdactyla in person. And I think even, not to sort of, I don't want to like speak for any of you, but I think in general, you're all going to be somewhat in awe because she is absolutely the biggest thing you have ever seen.
That's at least 5 grubs put together.
Do you say that out loud?
Yep.
Rosdactyla kind of laughs and sort of everything shakes. Ag is used to it, but sort of.
Nope, I go hide. Like I am out.
Oh dear, don't now, dear.
I'm behind the stalagmite.
Tight.
No, might, because it might reach the ceiling. I don't know. One of them.
A pillar of rock.
Yeah.
Pillar of rock. You're hiding behind a pillar of rock, and Rosdactyla kind of says, "Oh, I'm sorry, that was a little bit loud. Is it Meeza? Meeza, is it? There's no. Yes, don't worry. You can come out. It's fine. No need to worry."
I go and I hunker down behind Grub's wagon.
Thank you ever so much. So, oh my goodness, quite the turnout, isn't it, Ag? It's quite a few more than we
Yes.
I think-
It's 3 more than I expected.
She sort of gives a very, very sort of polite little chortle.
It's one more than I expected.
Oh, aren't you all, darling? And oh my goodness, is that Bispo's? Is that Bispo's 13th? Is that Bispo's 13th?
Yes.
Is that little Noki? Oh my goodness, how much you've grown!
Yes.
Oh, why
And I'm still supposed to grow a little bit, but I'm almost there. So yes, hi.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to see you. I've heard you've been very busy at the mushroom farms. I know
Yes.
Bispo is very, very, very proud of you.
Yes.
I'm sure she's going to be ever so proud of you when she finds out that you're going on this little quest for me.
Yeah, I think she's gonna like it.
I'm sure she will. You're here, so I gather you're all interested. So I have a couple of things to give you. Well, it's one thing to give you, but you can share it. And she sort of doesn't actually get up because that would knock you all over. But she sort of turns around, she shifts her weight a bit, and she goes, oh dear, oh, bear with, sorry. Kind of creaks and croaks, and she gets out, and it's a feat of sleight of hand because this thing is tiny compared to her. It's a mirror. It's a hand mirror, and it's sort of probably one of the shiniest things in her sort of hoard of treasures. She lowers it down so it's sort of eye level with all of you, and she waves her tail over it, and sort of a cloud of sparkly glitter descends on it, and it starts glowing. And she says, now, my dears, because this is a sort of reconnaissance mission, as it were, as a sort of exploration, sort of looking into how the world works for me, I'm obviously going to want to know what you find out. So you can use this nifty little thing. I put a summoning charm on it. So once a day, all you need to do is you need to speak my name into it, and you see, I have another one here. And she sort of takes out another mirror. It says, and you know, it's a two-way system. We can chat, and once a day you can let me know how you're getting on. You can check in with your overalls. Now, how does that sound?
Very exciting.
Can I
Oh.
grab it, please?
I'm sorry, dear. What
I
did you
want
say?
it. Give it to me now.
Well, you know me. Meeza, it's important. It's important to share. And
I want
you know,
it.
I know, dear, but it's for all of you. You all get to no grabby hands. And she quickly just gives it to Ag. Just immediately gives it. Now, you're all.
Ag just looks confused and hands it to Zaffre, probably.
Now, now, actually, yes, of course, you can hand it over to Zaffre, but I haven't been perhaps completely holistic in my sort of description of this quest, because you know, regardless of the age, the average age of these kobold adventurers that I've sort of got here before me, I was hoping. And if a dragon can sort of look embarrassed and start looking a little bit shifty, this is it. And she sort of is avoiding your gaze, Ag. But, you know, I had hoped that you could perhaps keep an eye on them.
She just sort of looks from one of them to the other, and all of you two just look like 12-year-olds, basically. Well, perhaps that would be wise, I suppose. Ooh.
Well, I do pride myself on my millennia-long wisdom, and she kind of sort of. But you know, I'm not doubting the the abilities of you, Zaffre, or you, Noki, or even you, Meeza. I'm sure you're all perfectly, capable of taking care of yourselves.
I'm not.
But it kind of just ignores that. And sort of, I think you could all benefit from, my right hand kobold, as it were. And don't now. I know what you're going to say, Ag. Your duties as speaker are very important to you. I know they're very dear to your heart. But I know that your dear brother, Og. I know he's been chomping at the bit to get a chance to sort of feel your sizable. Well, you don't wear shoes, do you? It's an expression I picked up out there. I'm sure he'd be so eager to take over from you, and I'm sure he'd do a fine job. And I think you hear like very, very far away, like finally. You don't know where from, but you hear like this.
Well, she sort of looks around and she says, "Of course I will, Ross. I will. It'll be good, I think."
And Roz sort of just does a little kind of squee. She kind of sort of claps her hands gently, not too forcefully, otherwise a stalagmite or stalactite might fall. Says, oh, that's absolutely splendid. Oh, I can't tell you how relieved I am to know that you're up for this little jaunt. Well,
Zaffre finally pulls himself together and stands up. I am greatly honored to have been chosen for this great and noble quest.
Well, you did volunteer, but thank you. That's wonderful. It's wonderful to know that you feel so strongly about this.
I will do anything and everything you require of me.
And with that, you are suddenly and quite inexplicably an adventuring party.
Hooray!
Yay!
Adventure!
He's out there.
Somewhere.